How do we go from just starting a team to here? Maybe you saw a first event and were wanting to join as a mentor or a coach. Maybe you have a team of youth students. That's okay, we were there once too. And now we're here to help. It's time for season 2 of This Is How We Robot. Welcome new and returning viewers to This Is How We Robot. I'm Emma, team captain for FRC Team 4327, Q Branch Robotics, and in this episode we want to showcase the steps to starting a team as well as some ideas of how we formed our culture. To handle the necessary paperwork and behind the scenes nitty-gritty, I'm going to turn things over to our coach, John Burdett.
Thanks, Emma. So let's imagine you are fresh off your very first experience with first events. And you're eager to start a team at the elementary, middle, or even the high school level. Let's walk through precisely what needs to be done to get first to recognize your team and get your very own team number. When it comes to starting a team, you have many options. If you're unfamiliar with the 3 levels of first, there are FLL, that is First Lego League, which is made for elementary schools students to early junior high. FTC, or First Tech Challenge, which is to 7th grade to 12th grade, and FRC, First Robotics Competition, which is 9th to 12th grade students. FLL has more sections to it with Discover, Explore, and Challenge. Each region will have different structures to which grades should use each level, but the progression is the same. No matter the program or age of student you are looking to inspire, there is one item in common for all. The critical step is to register on www.firstinspires.org. After you have created your own account on this website, open up the dashboard as seen here in the upper right-hand corner. Now, click on the My Teams tab. Then click on the Create New Team button and it will open to a new page. There will be 2 options on starting a team. You can be either a team admin or lead coach. The team admin role can pay for registration and can invite adult mentors to the team. However, they cannot invite students onto the team through the First Inspires website. The lead coach role has full team admin rights and can invite students onto the team. Some may be tempted to sign up students, but not through the website. Do not do this. You must register all participants through the First website for you and them to be a part of the official First events. Being that you are signing up this team, let's go ahead and click on the lead coach role. This will lead you to the next screen where you get to select your overarching program, which is either FLL, FTC, or FRC. For this walkthrough, we are going to create an FTC team, which for us is planned for 7th and 8th grade students. Now the website will prompt you with a scroll down to read the registration fee and any necessary notices. Once done reading the information on the screen, select the Select and Continue underneath the game logo, which is located on the right side of your screen. This will now take you to the team profile page where the coach must input all of the necessary information. The team name is special to your team and does not have to be the name of your school or organization, as that will be labeled on the next page. After you fill the school organization tab, you can invite the primary contacts for your team. The primary contacts will be the secondary coach or main mentor for your team that is not you. This primary contact must be an adult. Once completed with the primary contact information, your team is all signed up and ready to start a new journey.
Another really important part to starting a team is funding and support. Seek out grants in your area or through First. To all the Michigan teams watching, there are Michigan MDE grants. There are NASA grants and rookie grants through First. Get in contact with your school's administration and even your superintendent. They are a great way to get your school's support. Sponsors are a huge reason why we were able to travel and pay for registration for all 11 of our First teams. Make sure to watch our sponsors video from season 1 on how to get sponsors. We went ahead and put a link in the description below. Now that you have a registered team, you can focus on the culture you want for your program. Often the culture of a team is something you cannot recognize clearly unless you are outside of that culture. To many, this idea of making videos meant solely to help other upcoming teams seems odd. This is a lot of work to write, film, and produce these episodes. But in our culture, we know this is the work that is expected of us, and we find rewarding. This is how we robot. So think about what kind of team or program you want to be. We know you're just starting, but maybe you have a season or two behind you where you got to witness many different teams at events. You probably interacted with a few you really liked. Think about what those teams made you remember them in such a positive manner. Are those teams' cultures something you want to emulate? Well, they did not become great teams accidentally. They set goals to end up as that well-established team. So ask yourself the most basic question. Do you want to be a team who participates in first or competes? Both teams are fine in their own right, and each program has their own culture, but you need to set the tone as the lead coach. This goes for elementary through high school.
That's right. Look, we are not going to pretend like we are an ideal team or program. We always have room to improve, and we learn many lessons through failure between our initial season and now. One of the biggest lessons learned is if it's not written down, it's not real. What we mean by that is describing expectations by conversation and vocalizing ideas is okay, but humans have a tough time remembering precisely what was said or intended by the original orator. When we put something in writing, then everyone can see, read, and reference the same document and come to the consensus on what is made clear. This works the same for setting your culture. It's time to set some goals.
For our team, we use a vision tracker like the one shown here on the screen. This is a great way to clearly articulate program goals to yourself, your team members, team parents, and even team supporters like sponsors. Here, we are able to set 1, 5, or 10-year goals, and then set benchmarks along the way to help us achieve this as a program. I know students may only be a part of the program for 1 to 4 years in FRC, but for our program, we think about what we want students to accomplish over their entire 12-year academic career through our school district.
And look, that may be a lofty goal for you right now. Maybe you have only started an FTC team 2 years ago. But think about what you want to have program-wide 5 years from now. This worked for us growing from a single high school team to a family of 11, from kindergarten through graduation. We knew what was needed to grow, we set the benchmarks, and then we worked toward them each year.
We also do something similar at the end of each season. We give everyone a voice about how the year went in review through our annual Pluses and Deltas meeting. Here we have students, mentors, and parents voice what they thought went very well for a team, as well as thoughts about what they would like to see change for the next season. This is a great way to focus on the positives and give everyone a chance to have their voices heard about improvements, not to a single robot, but to the program as a whole. Again, this is in writing, so everyone can agree in retrospect what was said and intended, so the expectations are clear for all parties involved.
And this sentiment is very important at the very beginning of our season, when I first meet with the students and parents for the year. I have in writing all expectations for participation and a schedule of events. We want no ambiguity over what is needed by each individual to be considered a part of our program. If students do not meet those written and agreed to expectations, then they are no longer considered a member of our program until next year.
And now that you have a team, you set some goals and made them clear, you might be wondering what is next for your team. Keep in mind, all types of teams find all varying levels of success in first. What we are now getting to is what separates those highly competitive teams from the rest of the field.
That's right. The end product of a season will ultimately be a competing robot on the field. There's just no way around that. And we also know that first is about more than just robots, and ultimately all the teams involved in these programs are winners. However, only some of these teams come home from events with hardware. So maybe your first few years you got started in December and your season ended with the last competition in April. Your fundraising may have happened during the build season or even after the fact, but you are looking for just enough to keep afloat. Well, if you're one of the top teams, that's not the case. Top teams are running nearly year-round. The preseason with planned training events happens around September through December. This again is for FRC. And this can include off-season or unofficial first events where teams get an abbreviated experience of an official event.
Their fundraising efforts happen throughout the summer and into the fall. All funding is secured before the season even begins, so they are certain of what they are capable of doing. Some additional efforts may be made as needed for championship events, but their focus during the build is purely on the season's challenge. These teams often will go to multiple regional events and host their own. They may even host events outside of FIRST for the purpose of cultivating STEM education in their community. They put in the time and effort to encourage others to get inspired to build robots just like they did.
And this does not happen without enough students to function as the well-organized units that they are. This means these teams, the top teams, are often larger in size to support the year-round adventure. And that all leads back to recruitment, and the best form of recruitment is lower-level teams.
All of the best intentions are going to be rendered useless if we fail to properly communicate. Consistent, clear communication between all involved parties is critical to the implementation of our vision tracker and to the overall experience of students, parents, and mentors on your team. People like clear expectations. Living in a nebulous space may be fine for some, but for an organized team such as ours, we need to have expectations written and clearly defined to help everyone understand.
This is why we have a mandatory student and then parent meeting every fall. In these meetings, we are able to set the tone and thus the culture of our program. We have written agreements to communicate the minimum standards expected of everyone, as we described in last season's video about team structure. I also make sure to have a parent lead. While I still will communicate with parents only as I need to, parents of your students will understand what works best for them. This parent lead is a great sounding board to get feedback regarding what needs clarification, if I'm asking too much or too little of the parents, and any other issues which may be popping up. The parent lead is also a great person to help organize the parent volunteers, which, as mentioned earlier, we have on our team support the program through food and volunteering at events. When both the student and the parent support FIRST and your program, that truly is a game changer.
So what are you waiting for? Go start a team in the community. Make some friends in your local area and FIRST group. There are tons of resources to help you get started. We're just one of many. We want to help you get your team to where you want to go. We know that may sound strange coming from an outside perspective, but that is truly the culture in FIRST. We grow stronger when we compete together.
Teams who regularly appear at the regional, district, or world championships don't only build amazing robots, they have programs with depth and strength through setting a vision for the future and effectively communicating between adults and students. We are so excited to see everyone this upcoming season.
So thank you so much for watching and being with us here today. Remember to leave a comment with your team name and number so we know what robots to cheer for this season. And as always, subscribe to this channel to keep finding out more on This Is How We Robot.